Pass it over. There you go.
Cool. I'm going to share my screen with, actually, before I share my screen. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit this morning in the group about our binder. Do you guys hear me okay? Okay, so I literally bought this from like Walmart, and I got the kind with the pockets in front. So I keep like my thank you notes with me at all times. I keep, I printed myself address labels. I keep all that stuff with me in the pockets. And then I bought just dividers. And so how I have this set up is I have a tab for current week. So that has all my dailies. I have a tab for previous dailies. And I don't know how long I'm going to keep them on me, but I write a lot of notes on them. So I like to have those in there. And then I have a tab for weekly checklists. And then I have a tab for monthly checklists. And now I'll share my screen and show them with you guys. Okay, so this is my daily checklist. Now this is literally a combination of, I mean, you guys, I've been doing this like, I don't know, 9-10 months, and you try so many different systems, and some things are good and some things are bad. And so what I did is I just took all my favorites and I just made my own. Working off other people's sheets, I found myself, I wasn't tracking the stuff that I personally needed to. I think what's really important when you go to develop your systems is there's some stuff you're really good at and there's some stuff that you're really bad at. And the stuff you're bad at is the stuff you absolutely must write down, because then it's like in your face that you're not doing it. And so I've definitely seen a switch in me since I've started doing this of really being like, oh, shoot, I didn't talk to anybody again today, but I sure did respond to a lot of messages, that kind of thing. So on my daily, I've been doing the power of 3, which I just started when we did the rank in the bank, and I kind of like it. So add 3 friends to networks. This is Facebook or new people on Instagram I've been counting as well. Invite 3 people to a group. This is basically inviting 3 people to anything. Group, coach, free eating, whatever. 3 new conversations. Most of the time I have the same person here and here, because I send them a friend request and they accept, and then I send them a message and say hi. Follow-ups. I actually will often pre-populate this. So like tonight, I'm going to fill out tomorrow's follow-up. Sorry. I'm going to fill out tomorrow's follow-up with some people that I know I need to talk to tomorrow. So I will a lot of times pre-fill this out the night before. My vital behaviors, this invite is above. Product of the product, you don't have to write this down, but I kind of like being able to check off that I did my workout and drank my Shakeology. So I have it on there. I write down what my personal development is. Again, I will also pre-populate this as well, like tomorrow says the National Wake Up Call, because I haven't listened to it yet. I have reminders to check in with all my challenge groups that I have running. I have a spot for phone appointments. So this is either something that I've scheduled, or right now I got a new lead. So tomorrow I have their name, their number, and then I also write down what state they live in as a reminder to myself of what time zone they're in. Because if I end up wanting to call them like right now and they're on the East Coast, like that might not be a great idea. And then meetings. Social media, this part was really important for me to track. I'm really focusing on Instagram. I'm actually going to change this to 2 times now that I'm kind of getting the hang of it. So every single day I have to post 2 times on Instagram, and I have to like 10 people's photos. And that for me is something that I am wanting to do to be better at Instagram. So maybe for you, you are, working on your Pinterest or whatever. Here you can put very specific things that you want to do every day to kind of grow that. So this is the part definitely where it's like, put in here what you need to focus on and what you want to be tracking. So this is what I do every day. And then down here, there's some space, and I kind of like write notes or whatever. So I print a whole week's worth out of these on Sunday, and I hole punch them and I stick them in my binder. So that's my daily sheet. And this is like the second round of it. I've already made changes to it. I think that's an important thing too, is when you make a system, it's going to change. You're going to find that you're always handwriting something in and you're like, oh, maybe I should just type it and save it and reprint it. Just do it. But it's fluid. It's always going to be different, depending on what you're working on. Okay, so let me go to weekly. Now the weekly one is, again, stuff for me that I'm working on. So presenting the business opportunity to 3 to 6 people. This is really hard, and I often fail at this, but it is my goal. This includes discount coaching. So that's where a lot of times I fill this in, is because someone wants more Shakeology, and so I present them with the discount. This one is specific to making sure that I'm keeping in contact with people requesting to join my group, because I got really behind on that for a while. I try to keep my challenge groups posts scheduled every week. So on Sundays, I try to schedule them for the week. So I'll mark that off here. These 2 things are also things that I'm working on, is just a focus on creating content. For me, I tend to, record my workout, take my pictures, and then hop in the shower, eat dinner, get on my computer, and then I never made anything to post. I never made a clip. I never did anything. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I got to post something. So I am trying to focus on spending time creating content for use later. So that's why for me, I wrote create pictures for Instagram and Pinterest, and then create specific videos. And these are my goals for the week. And, I may not post them, but then I'll have them for next time. And this is especially for me wanting to get into Instagram and Pinterest, because it's so magazine-like. You can't just throw up a swelfie on Instagram sometimes. Nobody's going to like that. It needs to look cool, and you might want a quote on it or something. So, I need to spend more time on those pictures than I do on my Facebook posts. I have a spot to check in with my personally sponsored coaches. And right now, this is mostly just hey, don't forget about your discount coaches, because they are still working on Drinking Shakeology. But this is another thing that I'll pre-fill out, and I might have more than 2 names in here, but just a reminder, just to see how they're doing. I have check-in with Becca every week. You guys would be surprised, even though we work together, how little we see each other. So just a reminder, even if it's a text or a Vox, or hey, this is what's going on in my life, something to do that. Send thank yous to all new customers that I get for the week, and then follow up with new leads. These I might take off just because I've made new checklists for specific people now. But again, these are just kind of the weekly things. And then my monthly checklist is just for me to track. My goals every month are for me to hit SC10. My new goal is for Tyler's business to hit 5, which so far he hasn't gotten anything, but that'll happen. And then for me to grow 2 coaches a month, and for him to grow 2 coaches a month, at least until I hit Diamond, and then I'll probably reassess. So this is just my month by month tracking on how I'm doing. And then it also is nice when you do get those points to write them down, because it's you got a checklist thing going on. So that's kind of what I created for myself. And I really see it staying fluid. I've been kind of harping on, as I get better at certain things, they might come off the checklist, and I might put new things on. But it's been very handy having these with me every day. I was never a good tracker on anything before I made these. I tried the BAT and I hated it. I would have to oh shoot, it's the end of the week, let me go update my stuff. I had a notebook, but then it wasn't organized. I had pieces of paper that I was losing. So I finally got to this, and it's working. So I'm going to stay with it and keep going. So does anyone have any questions on like the to-do type things?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
The first one, so do you carry this binder with you, like to work and everywhere?
Sure do.
Okay.
Sure do. It's in my Shakeology bag that I bring to work.
Okay.
And sometimes it's actually on my desk, hidden under piles of paper, if I'm like sneaky working. But I do carry it with me.
Okay. Because that was something that like I struggled with. Like I have a binder like that with 3 hole punches, and then it's like it was just a pain in the butt to carry, I guess. But okay, so that was good. And then my second question, do you have a list of people, like a list of 100, or like a list that you grow that way?
Yes, I have. Let me show you. It's in Asana.
Okay.
Oh, what is? Hang on. I just had this privacy message come up.
I think we're only, well, I don't know if you're changing your screen right now, but I still see Word.
Yeah, I just tried to pull up. I pulled up my browser to show you guys Asana, and then I got this message that says, basically, I can't show it to you. It might have a privacy. Okay, so let me explain to you what I have. In Asana, I've created a project that I called like Need to Connect or whatever. And that's where I put, like, anytime a name pops in my head of somebody that I want to reach out to, I put them there. And then when I do connect with people on Facebook, they go into a different project in Asana that I just call Contacts. And so sometimes I'll work from that list for follow-ups. I do want to get into more, I know, could not tell you who it was, National Wake Up Call, something like that. The girl that had like the dry erase board and had like her 10 that she was focusing on.
Yeah.
That I think is my next step, because I have like a very short focus of this is what I'm doing like today, this week. And then I have this huge list of these are all the people that eventually I want to talk to. But I think sometimes I lose focus on these are my top candidates or whatever you want to call them. So I am going to buy a dry erase board and like put it up on top of my desk.
Okay, cool. Thank you. These are awesome. Would you be willing to post these in our page?
Yeah, I can share them. I can share them. They're already in Google Drive, so I can share them.
Perfect.
The only caveat is when I upload them to Google Drive, they look funny. Like Google Drive is not a fan of the dual column thing. But I think if you download it into Word, it looks fine again. So you can just print it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Like, so
anybody else
I'm
have
still in all my formats.
Is anybody else doing anything like
Okay,
this?
so
Finally got my binder.
Binder?
Yeah, that's about it. All I got so far is my power hour checklist. That's about it so far. So this actually was very nice to see, like, okay, a current week, a previous week, monthly, and a weekly type thing. So yeah. I really like it. I appreciate you sharing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I do is, so at night, I'm still a Post-it note girl. I will always be that girl with the freaking pile of Post-it notes on her desk. So at night, because I work for an hour in the morning before I go to my real job. Or I don't know, I hate calling it my real job. The job where I work at a chemical plant, I work for an hour in the morning. So at night, I will write on a Post-it note, these are the few things I want to get done in the morning. And then when I'm done with that hour, I write on another Post-it note, these are the few things I want to get done at lunch today. And then I stick those Post-it notes on that day in the binder. So it's a little bit better, but that, I think I could probably improve also on the power hour checklist, because right now I kind of just put it on the Post-it notes. but it's, as long as it's stuck to the day, it's been helpful. If we still have time, right? Because I have 2 other checklists that I made for new customers and new coaches. Let me pull those up.
Oh, I'm talking while it's muted, but yes.
Okay, I saw you nod, so I figured that worked. Okay, this is my new customer checklist, and I literally just made these this week, and I've been wanting to do this, so I volunteered to show you guys them so that I would be forced to make them.
I love this.
But I already used them today, so this is not something that I'm going to keep forever, but this is like my worksheet while I'm getting to know the person. And all of this information I will put into Asana, because that's how I do my tracking. But this is just like my cheat sheet for the very beginning. So when I get a new lead, like today I got a new lead that said club membership, Team Beachbody free club membership. It was from the customer lead program. So I checked club and I wrote down their start date of the date that was in my COO. And then I got on chat with Coach Relations, because most of the time these people have bought something through beachbody.com and they either elected to sign up for a free or a club membership at that time along with their purchase. And that's how they get assigned to you. And you will not be able to see what they got because they got it from Beachbody, not Team Beachbody, so it's not going to be visible to you. If you ask, they'll tell you. Sometimes, Sam and Becca, you guys got a screenshot. Sometimes the person will be very literal and will tell you, yes, they purchased a fitness program.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh. Normally what you get is you say, hey, I would like to check if this person bought something from Beachbody, and they'll just say they got T25, they're on a payment plan, or they got 21-day fix, they paid in full. And you want to know those things, because if somebody paid in full, then you have the opportunity to offer them the upgrade to get Shakeology for cheap. So I like to know those things right away. And because I hate sounding dumb on the phone when I'm like, hey, can you tell me what program you got?
Yeah.
So pain in the butt, but I always get on and check what they have. I also, if they have club, I ask them what day it's going to renew. Because what I found out today is sometimes, depending on when they buy, like this one girl must have bought like late last night because she showed up today on the 28th, but they told me her club was going to renew next month on the 27th. So, I mean, a day might make a difference if you end up working with someone that always goes to the deadline. So I write all this stuff in. My next step is to call them, which is still terrifying to me, but I call every single person that has a phone number. And I will either leave a voicemail, or if I always ask if it's a good time to talk if they answer. If it's not, then I schedule a time where I can call them back. I call it a consultation or just another time to talk, and I'll write that down. Sometimes they're like, yeah, this is a great time to talk. So I will just move right into learning about them and introducing myself. I normally do this on the way home from work, so I have about a half-hour window to talk to people if they do want to talk. And then I have a bunch of talking points that I'll get into about what I ask them. If they don't put a phone number, then I just go right to the welcome email, which I have a script on what I send. If it is not a free lead, if it's a Shakeology type lead, I will send them a thank you note, even though I don't know them. I just say thank you. I put my contact information. I include recipes, just a thank you note. If it's a challenge pack, I have a little hair ties or whatever that I send. That's my additional free gift. Shakeology customer, I put in my Asana to follow up with them 3 weeks later. So even if they don't answer my first email, which is usually what has happened, or I can't get a hold of them, I'll still send them a follow-up in 3 weeks to be like, hey, how have you enjoyed your Shakeology, blah, blah, blah. Mentioning that if they're interested in more, there are ways to save money. Sometimes trying to get them to email me back, whatever. So that's my kind of plan. And then these are my talking points when I do talk to people. And I wanted to share this with you guys because when I first started calling people, I was like terrified. And then I was like, what am I going to say to them? You know? So I introduce myself. I say that I'm, you know, their free coach that they got when they purchased such and such from Beachbody.com. So this person I'm going to call tomorrow. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm from Team Beachbody. I'm your free coach you received when you purchased your 21-day fix the other day, you know, on the internet. How are you doing today? Blah, blah, blah. I introduce myself and I just say, you know, I started as a customer. I loved everything. The feel, felt, found. Now I'm a coach and I help people, blah, blah, blah. I ask about them. Sometimes it's not in this order too. Like sometimes people will just start talking and you get totally thrown off. So, but I make sure to ask about them and really get to know a couple things. Like, do they have kids? Do they have small kids? Are they nursing? Are they pregnant? Do they work nights? Do they work shift? Because if they end up asking me stuff about meals and planning and exercises, like I want to know kind of how the schedule goes. Be really clear. So you know what they got, but be really clear what they actually got in the box. I've had people that have gotten Shakeology samples, that have gotten random like nutrition stuff on Home Direct that I didn't even know you could get. So be super clear on what they have. That'll also save you from like sending someone Shakeology that already has some, you know, that kind of thing. I always ask why they picked out the program that they did. Most people will tell you they saw it on an infomercial and that's why they got it. But I want to understand why they got it and what their goals are that they think they can get with the program they got. Struggles in the past. And I always try to offer them something so I can email them and give them something. So if it's 21-day fix, I'll be like, hey, I have this sample meal plan, you know, that I can shoot over to you so you can kind of see how to make meals. Or if it's someone's doing something different, I'll be like, hey, I have this. Like this one lady was like complaining that she really struggled eating salads. So I was like, I have some great salad recipes with some homemade dressings. I'll send that to you. And that way you can give them something of value right away. And it's really simple. You'll probably already have it. I always check if they're on Facebook, and if I can send them a friend request. I always invite them to my next challenge group. Most people say no, and I think it's because they don't know me yet, and that's totally okay. Most people don't want to do it, and that's fine. But then what I want to know is, what do they need from me? I just normally say, you know, is it okay if I, you know, maybe text you once a week to see how you're doing? Or is it okay if I text you in a couple days to make sure you get your product? Stuff like that. And then here, if it's a Shakeology customer, definitely mention the upgrade. Like this girl, this other lead I got, I mean, she already spent $130 on Shako. I mean, if she wants Pio, she can get it for 10. Like, you got to throw that out there. So I try to capture all this, and I don't like doing it in the car because I can't write notes, but that's when I have a good window to talk. So I just do my best to remember it all. So I just started using this, and it's been helpful so far just to keep everything in order. And then I have a really similar one for a new coach. I just write down discount, active, or they aren't quite sure what they want to do yet, but they're interested. I have a couple different templates of welcome emails that I send people, and I make sure that if I need to send them how to do the military discount, I do. I have screenshots for them, how to see their personal orders and how to modify Shakeology. I normally send these just to discount coaches because they're not going to watch anything in the back office that tells you how to find anything. They're not even going to do that. So these are the two things they probably care about. If it's an active coach, I send them the About Me form, send them a little welcome package, when we're going to schedule the GSR, and then all the different groups to put them into. Because I was doing this last night or a couple days ago, and I was like, I was like, okay, I got to put them here, blah, blah, blah. So I just typed it all out. And then just a double check that their order goes through, especially if they got a challenge pack. Just make sure it's good, and make sure they show up on the correct leg. this is really important. And another thing that happened to me is I had 2 people that were going to sign up at about the same time, and I wanted them on separate legs. So I just left it. And then when finally one of them did it, then I just had to get them moved. But it's just a reminder to put them in the right spot. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I will post these and share them in the Google folder. If anyone has any really quick questions, or you can post questions in the group too. But these are just all the things that I do all the time. And so I wanted to have them written down so I didn't forget something, because I forget something all the time. So.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing these things.
You're welcome.
I'm thinking about how we can use these for like our 50 No's challenge, do some like a week of following systems, because I think it's, like you said, it's really important to try different systems out and then, see what works for you and then modify as needed. And so I love this. I'm going to definitely, use these things and make them fit my schedule too. So does anybody have any questions about any of these?
It's not really like about these, but I remember a little bit ago, Jen shared like a Google Doc that she was using for like weekly check-ins or whatever, like in our team page or whatever. And I was looking for it today because I wanted to like make my own, and I couldn't find it. So is there like a way that you could possibly throw that link back somewhere, Jen?
Yeah, and I might have moved the documents around. So I'll reshare all these, and